As many of you may know, I don't often like to come on here and hate on things just because it's trending, but I will try to give honest reviews about things and still look for the positive in those things. And honestly, this show is great. Good morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. My name is Aiden, and if you don't like Ironheart, that means that the show was probably not made for you. It might have been made for you, and you're just brainwashed by the hundreds of angry white guys who are being racist and really don't have any argument to why the show is actually bad. But Ironheart was made for people who don't always get a fair representation in their struggles, lives, or what they go through day to day. I obviously do not know the whole deep-rooted struggles that African Americans and others like them go through in a day, nor do I know exactly what it feels like to have constant discrimination against me or prejudice dealt to me every single time I step out of my home. And because of that, shows like this weren't made for me in mind, and that's okay. There are hundreds of shows about white guys who become superheroes. Hell, there are hundreds of white superheroes who look almost identical to me in many ways. But that doesn't mean I can't still enjoy a superhero show about someone who may be the exact opposite of me. Not every show was made to pander to my specific view, and not every superhero was meant to be someone who looked like me. Maybe it's just my radical views that I have, but I have enough diversity in my life to enjoy a show about a person who doesn't look like me. Ironheart started out a little rocky in my opinion. The first episode was good, however some of the acting was stiff and a lot of the writing felt like an adult writing teenagers. However, Riri struggles with needing more money to make her suit in her own vision, as well as wanting to live up to the legacy of Tony Stark, and her stepfather was done so well. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I understand her frustration with feeling like she's being put limits on herself because the school didn't have more funding for the projects she needs. So turning to something like completing other students' projects to help fund her iron suit seemed like a reasonable conclusion given what we know about her character in the MCU. The raw grief that Riri feels about the deaths of Natalie and Gary was done so well, and the fact that her version of Jarvis is Natalie was done so well. It was such a unique choice to make her AI companion based off the memories of her dead best friend, and I feel like if you got that pitched to you in an idea room, a normal person would simply think that it wouldn't work, but it so does. The introduction of the Hood and his gang of misfits was interesting. I liked where they ended up going with Parker and John. However, by about episode 3 and 4, they all seemed to have hit their stride and actually had some good acting prowess. They all seemed like they had great potential if directed right, and I really liked what they did with Xavier and the other people who were like really closer with Riri. It all felt super genuine and the acting was super believable. It felt like a lot of close friends and family around Riri, and I really was happy to see that because sometimes dialogue in like family dynamics can be really hard to portray, but they pulled it off super well in this show. Ironheart was so full of love, loss, and life that it baffles me how many losers on the internet are hating on this show without either giving it a chance or just complaining about every aspect of it. Not everything was made for you. I get it. You can't empathize with somebody who's not in the same predicament as you, but it shouldn't fill your heart with so much hate that you review bomb everything that wasn't made to pander your specific view. We've had hundreds of shows about white guys who became superheroes. Why can't young girls, especially young black girls, have an idol that lives in the same universe as your idol? When it comes to women and everything, they've been pushed around and treated as the lesser sex, so don't even give me all that bullshit that it should have been Morgan Stark instead of a Riri. Regardless of who would have taken the role of Ironheart, people would have hated because so many of you are filled with hate over absolutely nothing. It's all you know. You're afraid that if there's a show about a superhero who doesn't look like you, then that means there's going to be a lack of superheroes that will look like you. But guess what? There will always be hundreds of superheroes who look like you. They talk like you, they go through the same struggles as you do. If you don't like Ironheart, that's fine. You don't have to like every single project that's produced, but stop allowing that hate to consume you and cause you to belittle others who enjoy the show. Not everything's about you. You're not at the center of the universe. Hell, you're not even the center of the solar system or galaxy. So shut the hell up and let people enjoy Ironheart. Not everything is made for you. If you hate Ironheart, it wasn't made for you. Quit letting that affect your every move and belittling the project because there are hundreds of people out there who can identify with Bad Girl Genius Riri Williams, and they deserve that representation too. They deserve to get to picture that they're Ironheart just as much as you get to deserve to picture that you're Iron Man or Spider-Man or Captain America. That's what's so great about diversity and equality among others. Everybody gets their own cake and they get to eat it too. So quit spitting in other people's cakes because you don't like what the flavor is. The other aspects of this show were done so great, so if you hate this show, fine, hate it. But don't blame the MCU or the actors or anything. Take accountability for what you don't like about the show because it had a great villain who felt menacing, had amazingly mature themes, It had such a strong supporting cast when it mattered, and yeah, sure, some of the writing and acting was shoddy, but overall the show dealt with a character who needed to be held accountable for her actions, and it showed that there are plenty of morally gray characters who should have just been straight up heroes. Riri is about 20 and still figuring out her life. She's still figuring out how to deal with all the loss that she's been dealt in her life. And Dominic Thorne did a great job at portraying that throughout the show. I genuinely felt sorry for her with the amount of hate that was pushed onto her and her character and her show. To end this video on a positive note, I want to say that the reveal at the end of the show with Natalie, Riri, and this guy right here was absolutely amazing. I loved every second of it, and if you haven't watched Ironheart yet, I left out many key details for you to go watch it, so go support the show. It was great. I think many people would like it if they took off their hate hats and cynical glasses and just enjoyed the show for what it was. I hope to God you all took away something positive from today's video, and if you did, let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you all for watching, and thank you all for 200 subscribers. Have a great day. Okay, bye now.